Welcome to Conversations and Viewpoints.
No longer will illegal aliens be able to live in HUD-funded housing, and those that are committing criminal activity, I have a message for them. It's time to pack your bags because it is no longer allowed.
The administration is cracking down on illegal immigrants that are living in public housing. Housing and Urban Development Secretary Scott Turner announced that the Trump administration is launching a sweeping review of public housing authorities all around the country in an effort to ensure that illegal immigrants are not benefiting from taxpayer funded assistance. That was a conversation with the HUD Secretary Scott Turner. And in that conversation, he went on to announce that the Trump administration is launching this sweep. It is a full review of this. They're using data to locate these illegal immigrants and make sure that they are removed from those units and that they are not benefiting from taxpayer-funded assistance. And he went on to say that every public housing authority has 30 days to conduct an audit and verify the citizenship of each and every resident. There must be an eligible immigration status. No longer, he said, will illegal aliens be able to leave citizenship boxes blank or take advantage of HUD-funded housing, riding the coattails of hardworking American citizens. He also said that there has been weak enforcement under previous administrations that left thousands of American families on waiting lists, and that is so true. And that currently HUD only serves 1 out of 4 eligible families, due in part to this lack of enforcement of prohibition against federally funded assistance to illegal aliens. Non-compliance could lead to an examination of federal funding. That means that these housing or HUD locations could lose funding, and that will affect everybody if they are not in compliance. He went on to say that Washington, D.C. has already been placed on notice and that more than 3,000 other public housing authorities will face these exact same requirements. American citizens will be prioritized, he said, and anyone in this country illegally should be deported and not given publicly funded housing. So that will be data that will be collected by the current administration in this effort. They're going to make certain that there are no illegal aliens living in HUD housing. And again, that includes public housing as well as Section 8. But is this really the end of illegals receiving taxpayer-funded housing? Because many are reminded of the prioritizing of illegal immigrants that were on the current waiting list under the Biden administration, when many people were complaining that they had been on there for years. And so when these illegals came in, they made them priority number 1. And that just made no sense, even though we had so many other people that were in desperate need. There are already laws that are supposed to be in place that required proof of citizenship in order to receive public housing or any Section 8 unit. However, because many illegals came over with intent to anchor themselves, some gave birth once they had illegally entered this country. So these people are considered children, are referred to as anchor babies by some. But as it currently stands, these anchor babies are entitled and considered eligible to receive various forms of assistance because of the birthright citizenship laws. That means that these families can and do obtain SNAP benefits, they obtain Medicaid, and various other forms of assistance. They are qualified for it as a result of having these children once they illegally entered. So how would this really have an effect on this law? Will it change it much? But the audit is said to follow a March memorandum between Turner and Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem to expand oversight of these public benefits. Now, the entire government is said to be working together to identify abuse and exploitation of public benefits and make sure that those that are in the country illegally are not receiving any federal benefits or other financial incentives to stay illegally. This is according to Noem. And she went on to say, if you are an illegal immigrant, you should leave now because the gravy train is over. As I've said, proof of citizenship has always been a requirement for any public housing or Section 8 unit. But many citizens noted that there are some states who are making giant efforts to find ways around these laws that are meant to prevent illegals from access to Medicaid and benefits reserved for actual citizens. So even though these laws are put in place to prevent illegals from receiving public benefits that they are not entitled to, many of the states and jurisdictions are finding ways to blow right through these laws. Case in point is Mayor Karen Bass of California. She is able to give illegal immigrants a stipend, actually a check, because they already violated the law and entered the country illegally. And to prevent ICE from picking them up, they are not leaving their houses or if their family member is prevented from working, which they are not supposed to do if they're illegal immigrants as well. Either way, this mayor allows them to continue to violate the law by offering them a stipend that keeps them inside, preventing ICE from picking them up. So they've already violated the law by being here. And somehow they are rewarded with free money to sustain themselves while they continue to avoid ICE and not follow the laws of the United States. Now that is irony. HUD cited data from the Center for Immigration Studies showing that about 59% of illegal migrant households benefit from at least one government welfare program, creating roughly $42 billion in costs. The Trump administration aims to end this wasteful misappropriation of taxpayer money going to subsidize housing for these illegals by having DHS identify illegal aliens who are ineligible for federal housing assistance to HUD, according to the memorandum of understanding between these two agencies, because American tax dollars should be used for the benefit of American citizens, especially when it comes to an issue as pressing as our nation's housing crisis. Under this new agreement, it will leverage resources including technology and personnel to ensure that American people are the only priority when it comes to public housing. We will continue to work closely with DHS to maximize our resources and put American citizens first, is what he said. Now, Noam said that the entire government will work together to identify abuse and exploitation of public benefits and make sure that those that are in the country illegally are not receiving any form of federal benefits or other financial incentives to stay illegal. Noam further stated, if you are in fact an illegal immigrant, you should leave now. She said that the gravy train is over.
Is here with us for more on that. Mr. Secretary, so explain to us how this will work, rooting out the illegals who are on government welfare and housing.
Well, Charlie, it's great to be with you. And you alluded to it. President Trump is serious, not only in cleaning up the crime in our streets, but also American citizens will be prioritized when it comes to living in HUD-funded, government-funded housing. We just sent out a letter to the D.C. Housing Authority, and it has been received by them. And as you said, they have 30 days to give us a full, comprehensive account of everyone living inside of D.C. housing authorities that are receiving Section 8 vouchers or any type of HUD funding. We want the names, the address, the number of people in the unit, the size of the unit, the cost of the unit, and they must give us their American citizenship status or eligible immigration status. No longer will we allow illegal aliens to live in taxpayer-funded housing here in America. In the last administration, in the Biden administration, Charlie, they turned a blind eye. They didn't collect the data, but those days are over. We are collecting the data to make sure that illegal aliens, and for that, criminal activity, no one doing criminal activity is living in HUD-funded housing, which is literally on the backs of taxpayers in America.
What has been the reaction of authorities in these sanctuary cities to this effort?
Well, you know, they don't like it, but it doesn't matter. It's the law, Charlie. We're going to uphold the law to its fullest extent, as you've seen with President Trump, as you've seen there with Tom Homan, Secretary Noam, and others. We're going to uphold the full extent of the law. And at HUD, we will support the president in this. Charlie, there is 18,000 units, households in D.C. Housing Authority right now. And it costs about $400 million of taxpayer money and assistance to housing just in D.C. alone. In our country, there's 3.2 million households that receive HUD funding at $45 billion of taxpayer money. And so no longer will illegal aliens be able to live in HUD-funded housing, and those that are committing criminal activity, I have a message for them. It's time to pack your bags because it is no longer allowed.
Should illegals be removed from public housing in Section 8? Leave your comment on this topic.
If you have not already, be sure to subscribe, like and comment. Share your opinion on this topic, conversations and viewpoints that matter to you.